So the decision to organize CEC14 was made against several important developments in the field of climate engineering. For one, the IPCC, the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change that provides scientific advice, for example, to the UNFCCC, the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, has picked up discussions of climate engineering in its most recent fifth assessment report. Also, several of the research projects that have been carried out over the past couple of years are coming to a close now or are close to coming to a close and have interesting results to present. These come from different disciplines, from different countries, but there's also collaboration between countries. For example, in UTRACE, the European Transdisciplinary Assessment of Climate Engineering, the final assessment report of which is scheduled to appear later this year. At the same time, serious discussions of field experimentation for solar radiation management technologies are picking up speed, and this, of course, raises important questions for governance that could be addressed at the conference. So when we made the decision to name the conference, Climate Engineering Conference 2014, Critical Global Discussions, we actually took quite some time to decide on what would come after the colon at the steering committee meetings where we made this decision. And we chose Critical Global Discussions as a subtitle for the conference because we want these discussions to be critical in the same sense that science is critical in examining its object of study. And we want this critical perspective to be carried forward into discussions in the policy area and also in the wider public. Global because very obviously techniques that intervene into the global climate have a global reach and everybody's voice should be heard in these discussions. Also because they touch on other issues that are of global reach, such as climate change and questions of distributive justice between generations, between societies, and even within societies and different segments of societies. Discussions because we want this to be a place for open exchange, so we want openness to be the defining characteristic of the conference. That's why we came up with these three words, Critical Global Discussions, to provide a good description of what the conference is about. Right. Well, I myself personally am always excited about hearing about the scientific state of the art in these debates. So getting the scientific leaders, the world leaders of their respective fields to come together and share their knowledge is to me an exciting event. At the same time, we have interesting engagements with the public planned. So we're hosting two public events, a science cafe at the Natural History Museum in Berlin, and a public panel discussion at the House of World Cultures, which I'm very much looking forward to. I'm also excited about the conference because climate engineering brings to the fore important questions about the relationship between science and society. And these wider questions, I think, can be addressed very interestingly at a conference that follows the format that we draw upon, which brings together not just the academic stakeholdership, but also representatives of civil society and policymakers.